Hello Santa Fe, I'm Carlene and welcome to Living Santa Fe Revival. Doreen came up with that great entry because of the problems with the COVID in Santa Fe. Most of the businesses have been closed down. One of the first one that's working to open. They haven't opened completely yet, but this is a massive cleanup of one of the highlights of Santa Fe, which is La Fonda Hotel. Everybody knows La Fonda. There have been many people that have visited here from all over the world. And so we decided we would have a revival, and it's it. I have Ed Pulsiver and Hala Harvey, who's an ambassador here. Ed, what is your title?
Director of Sales.
Director of Sales. And incidentally, we're dedicating this show to all the people and the citizens of Santa Fe who have come forth at the forefront of this virus. All the medical people, the business people, the food depots, everybody that has worked at keeping this city going. This is our business in this city is tourism. So this is going to be a great experiment, not only for Santa Fe, but for the United States. As everyone knows, the fight against COVID is far from over, but plans to reopen the economy and fully reactivate the healthcare system are in the planning here in New Mexico. The news is positive, but don't become too complacent. Rates showing the signs of virus flattening and testing. Testing capacity is not completely ready to go, but state officials can begin easing up on business restrictions. It's an economic recovery. They have provided a council of business people who will be giving advice as to go about this in a slow and careful manner. Preparations are an absolute necessity before this can happen, and that's what's happening here at La Fonda. They're preparing to open and make it a safe place. You will note that all the work going on here has been done by people that work here. And it's a massive project, and we'll go into that with Ed in a few minutes. La Fonda is one of the oldest hotels in the States. Hala, can you give me a short history of the hotel? It was called the, you know enough about it. We don't know everything, like we don't know anything about COVID either, but it was called the Exchange, is that correct?
Yes, I think Ed can help me a little bit with that.
I'd be happy to.
Sure.
And I'd also like to mention, though, we're still open. The hotel is never closed.
I know it's still open.
We are still open.
But the restaurant, you know.
Yes, we can only do curbside takeout, and we are seeing slight increases every week, every day actually, which is very positive. But just a quick history, this is actually the oldest lodging corner in the United States. There's been some form of lodging or Fonda since about 1610, same age as Santa Fe. Then in the 1830s, there was an old Western hotel built called the Exchange. Well, it was called the U.S. Hotel, the Americana Hotel, and then eventually the Exchange Hotel. And in 1919, some local business people decided Santa Fe needed a new hotel, so they tore down the Exchange Hotel, but it wasn't a normal tear down. They brought in a tank called a Mud Puppy from World War I, and every time someone bought a $50 war bond, this tank would drive into the Exchange Hotel to tear it down. And they were able to raise $200,000, and they hired a company called Rapp and Hendrickson out of Colorado, who really did a lot of projects in New Mexico and a lot in Colorado, kind of created Pueblo Revival style. So from 1919 to 1922, La Fonda was built. They actually also did the New Mexico Museum of Art across the street, which was done in 1917. So the hotel, which originally had about 55 rooms, opened in December 30th, 1922. Struggled the first couple years it was open, went into receivership, and in 1925, the Atchison Topeka Santa Fe purchased the hotel and immediately leased it to the Fred Harvey Company, which they'd already had a 40-year relationship with. A lot of Fred Harvey histories.
That's good. Hey, love, you're an ambassador here.
Yes.
What is your responsibility?
This is a program that Ed Pulsiver started. Actually, they're docents and they're ambassadors. And the ambassadors give tours of the hotel Wednesday through Saturday at 10:30 a.m. when everything's up and running. And hopefully will be soon. And then the second job that I really enjoy is ambassador, which is I come down to the hotel and get dressed up because I'm representing the hotel, and I talk to people in the lobby and I tell them about the hotel and try to help them have a better experience of La Fonda. This hotel has an amazing history, and our program is really unique in that it's a for-profit hotel, but we have 40 to
About 40 docents.
40 docents that volunteer their time to come down here and help people learn about the hotel and the history of Santa Fe. It's really a lot of fun. Great program that Ed started.
It's like a museum. This hotel is like a living museum. And we have over 1,200 pieces of art going back to 1922, and we still commission local artists to add to the spaces, but it's very unique because the art is not for sale, it's not commissioned, it's part of almost a 100-year collection. And in 2015, Condé Nast voted this hotel 6th best hotel art collection in the world.
That's right.
Great accolade to have.
Another thing I'd like to stress is when you come down here, when this place is full today, nobody's in the lobby or anything. It's kind of weird. They even looks like they have little ghosts hanging around here. And I'm sure there are a lot of ghosts.
There are.
Yes.
There's ghost activity.
And we'll get a couple of the ladies that sit at the front desk in a little while and have a short interview with them. But I'd like to talk about some of the people that I know have visited this place. I remember when they had the 3 Kennedys. They had John Kennedy, Bobby Kennedy, and Ted. And a friend of mine came down here and she met him, and she fell in love immediately. She was about 18 at the time, but I guess we all fell in love with the Kennedys. And so they were here. And then movie stars, Greer Garson. You'd see Greer Garson wandering around this place all the time. She used to get her hair fixed right up here with Dolores Quintana. Georgia O'Keeffe, the same thing. She was here. She got her hair fixed up there. I could go on and on. I remember when they filmed Cowboy in 1956. Jack Lemmon and all that group were down here.
Ride the Pink Horse, 1947.
Ride the Pink Horse, and that's on television. It shows La Fonda, shows the bus depot, Fiestas,
Zobra,
and the little carnival that is up at Taos now, I believe. So, you know, the history of the hotel is fantastic. Welcome back to Living Santa Fe. And Ed, you're going to give us an idea. We took some film.
yes.
But give us an idea of the areas.
Well, let me
Start with Blockbuster.
kind of first is this has been the community gathering hotel since 1922, and we're very philanthropic. We're very supportive of the community, and our employees really, our staff is what comes first. So we have a very dedicated, very committed ownership, and as soon as we were able to apply for the payroll protection plan, our lender out of Dallas applied, and we were funded. We were funded on April 23rd. So immediately, we'd already had a whole list of projects. I mean, really, really in-depth cleaning projects, maintenance projects, deep cleaning projects that we wanted to implement, and we knew we could bring a lot of staff back to complete these projects. So we have brought back at least 80 staff members full-time that were just, wanted to come back to work. We give people the option if they want to come back to work, or, sometimes it's not a job that they're normally doing. Like if they're a server in the restaurant, we're not going to have them, regrouting floors, things like that, unless they want to come in. So we were funded, and here's just kind of a list of some of the projects that we're doing. That these are really in-depth projects, because especially when you have a property that's almost 100 years old. Regrouting the entire kitchen floor, and that is a major project of scraping all the grout, regrouting, and then resealing it. Painting of all the kitchens. We have three major kitchens in this property. Dusting of all ceiling, vigas, and latillas. And you took a shot of that, but you don't realize how many vigas and how many latillas we have throughout this property. And literally getting up on a ladder and hand cleaning every one of them with Murphy's oil soap. That is another very in-depth project. Deep cleaning of all guest rooms. We have a PM crew that'll go in, take furniture out, an AM crew, because we do, very important to keep people 6 feet apart. And we do have a lot of protocol in place for our guests and our staff to keep everybody safe. Deep cleaning of shampooing of all carpets, including all the corridors, the meeting rooms, the ballrooms. Major cleaning in La Plazuela, as you can see here. Same thing. All the woodwork has been hand cleaned and hand polished. The floor will be stripped and resealed. The parking garage is going to be cleaned, restriped, renumbered. The terrace flagstone, got a crew that specialize in that are going to be repairing a lot of the flagstone as well. So, we're very happy we're able to, these are people's lives, but to bring back as many staff as we could. My team, there's 9 of us on my team, and responsible for all of the events, the conventions, the weddings, the galas. They have been working at home since March 22nd. But we have been very, very proactive in contacting every group, every wedding, every event, and we've been able to rebook probably 80 to 90% of all the events that we had. So we've rebooked March, April, May, now we're into June. We're booking it to the end of the year. We're booking it in 2021, 2022, so that, when we come out of this, we'll at least be ahead of the game. And then also, completely creating a new protocol book for our groups and conventions and events. So instead of seating 2 people at a 6-foot table or 3 at an 8, you're sitting 1 at a 6-foot table. Instead of seating 10 people at a round, you're seating 4. So spatial distancing for all of our groups and events, and my team has just done, as well as the entire team at this hotel, an incredible job. And I'm not sure how some of the hotels that have just shut down completely, how proactive they're being, or going to the level that we're going to for our guests, our future guests. Being open, we're still averaging 15 to 25 rooms a day. I think last night we had 20 rooms occupied. We keep people spaced apart. We don't go into a room for 4 days before it's cleaned to make sure there's nothing that's still living in there. Very strict protocol for our staff. We got a letter in the guest room. We take away all high touch point items in the guest room. We have a disposable menu. We're going to do the same once we're able to open up in the restaurants. We're going to open up La Plazuela, La Fiesta. We're going to turn New Mexico for dining as well, so that we can keep people spread apart. Same with the bell tower, and temporarily we're going to use the outdoor terrace for outdoor drinks and snacks and things like that. So we'll be able to allow people to come down to the hotel, but where we have an advantage, instead of a freestanding restaurant that's just one venue, that they're limited with that space, we can really spread people out in this hotel, be able to still offer a great service. People want to get out, but then keep people safe, keep our staff safe. They have mandatory masks, gloves, a whole list of sanitary things that we do. as well as encourage people to come into the hotel to wear masks as well. We have masks at the desk that are disposable that we can offer, and then we have cloth masks that we sell as well. We want to make people to make sure that they feel safe. So, but I think that we're so fortunate to have such a committed ownership and such a committed leadership at this hotel to be able to do what we're doing to keep people employed, keep food on the table for them. It's extremely important. And they have been so happy. It's so nice to see people coming to work and positive and happy and with what's going on in the world. So it's been very rewarding, very emotional. One other thing too that I'd like to say about our group of docents, because they volunteer, all of our tours are complimentary. And I would encourage, when we do get back, to come down on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 10:30 and take a tour hour long of just this hotel. It's an incredible, the history that you learn gives you a much deeper appreciation. But if someone asks our docents, do you accept gratuity? They say, we do, however, we don't keep it. We use it for philanthropic, nonprofits and things like that. So I'm happy to say that last week I sent a letter to Sherry Hooper, who's the executive director of the Food Depot, and the docents donated a $500 check to the Food Depot, which they've done that before. They did $500 a couple years ago. They donated $500 to Hurricane Harvey relief. Los Golondrinas when they had a flood, the church in Laney. I mean, I can go on and on what this group does, but it's like, what can we do right now that has the most impact? And, it's not a huge amount, but $500 to help for needy families is a lot. And that was on behalf of this incredible group of people. So.
That's great. Now, supposedly, we're not going to have the Spanish market,
right?
The Indian market.
Right. We're getting creative on some things. We have some artists that have always been here during those markets, like Ira Lujan and Sheldon Harvey in the New Mexico room, or Federico in the Santa Fe room. And we still want to be able to do some of those things where we use some of our incredible historic spaces. We've got artists that still want to do this, obviously keeping people spaced and depending on where we're at with whatever protocol there is that the governor has. So I think that through the summer we're going to try to have some small things throughout the hotel where we have artists that people can come in and still enjoy and at least get that feel of wanting to come in and have some normalcy and just not to the magnitude that we've had in the past. So we're working on some things like that as well.
This will be great for people from Santa Fe, for the locals.
Oh yeah, we still have.
They come down here.
We do. We have regulars that come down.
Right.
A gentleman that'll sit there. One he sits in the corner. Cliff, who comes up and sits at the sale table every morning, and we have some conversation. And they just want some normalcy. I mean, you too. You want to come down and you like to have lunch and sit outside. I go walking every day with one of my coworkers, and just to have at least some sense of normalcy.
That's great. One other thing I wanted to ask you. The other day when I was here, I hear there's a ghost in here.
Yeah, there's actually several different ghost stories. And the Southwest Ghost Hunters Association several years even produced a publication. One like Judge Slough, who was shot in the back in the 1860s when it was the Exchange Hotel, a bride who was killed. I can't remember the whole story. So there's probably half a dozen different ghost stories. In fact, Becky, some people are much more clairvoyant at it. My office is up on the mezzanine I think it was Monday. She came running up. She goes, "Did you see that ghost?" Came down the stairs running along Plaza Well. I said, "No, I wish I could have seen it." But she has seen like the bride in the past, just because she's, and then they're not. No, they're just hanging around and being part of La Fonda, and but yeah, we do have had those stories, and a lot of people that have seen spirits here over the years.
Well, there are a lot of stories to be told about La Fonda, and I wish I could tell all of mine, but we're running out of a little bit of time here.
Okay.
Doreen, thank you for coming down. This is the first for Channel 16. We're the first television, I think, that has come into Santa Fe to do this type of thing on a revival.
That's wonderful. We appreciate it. We appreciate being able to tell the story, and especially what we're doing for our associates here.
And today is National Nurses Day. And so once again, we're dedicating this to the people in the forefront, not only the nurses and doctors, but the grocery people.
Oh, yes.
The people that take care of your car.
Yep.
There's just a
People at gas stations, people at
gas
places that you got to go
stations,
to, you know.
Absolutely. So we want to thank all those. So I don't know. I think you're doing a wonderful job by doing this. I think you're giving a first step to really having people come back into
Yes.
the economic situation here in Santa Fe. Nobody knows how it's going to turn out.
No,
I've heard, I think last week I heard 500 opinions of how we should run this country and how we should run Santa Fe. And everybody's got an opinion, and it's like the nose on my face, everybody's got a nose. So, you know, that's what I think about opinions. But this is an experiment, and the government was slow in responding to the beginning of this. And there's not enough testing. There's not enough medical evidence yet. There's no vaccine yet. They're working on, I think, in 100 and some countries on getting a vaccine for this disease. But as of right now, we don't have it. So I can't sit here and predict how this is all going to turn out. Hopefully everything will work. But all I can say, the virus is here. It's nationally all over the place. All the states have it. It respects no nation, no political party, no religion. It's a global fight against the virus. We have to form international and national partnerships. We are all in this together. And the only thing I could say that I know for sure, listen to the science, wash your hands, keep distance, and don't drink the Clorox.
no.